Hello, everyone. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. And we were having some technical difficulties, but looks like we're back on. So first, this is not an advice program. So you need to do your own due diligence since we do not know your background or any information about you. But we will get started. So the market, we got a big pullback in Google today. Meta kind of bounced back. I took added a couple options in Meta today. Nvidia bounced back. So we got some pockets of green, pockets of red, but overall looks good. Even the oils bounced back today. So that's kind of a look at our S&P 500 heat map. Share our annuity screen. Most people should be in an annuity, 85%, because they cannot take the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune when the market goes down. So every time an annuity steps up in value, does not go down, steps up again, whereas the market bobs and weaves to its own gyrations. As you can see, index investing gets beaten out by annuity average annual growth, and that is because annuities give you a bonus. Right now, they're currently offering anywhere 40 to 45% bonuses, but don't take that. We'd have to take a look when you place your application if it's still in effect. So that's annuities. Share our screen, kind of take a look at the market. This is uranium, got a little bounce off of the 20-day moving average. We did not add yet to this. We're contemplating it. First, let's take a look at the dollar index. Sold off of the dollar index, but it did try to bounce off of the declining 10-day moving average. Got its head bumped up against the 20-day. Take a look at gold. Gold sold off again as well. That's kind of surprising. And so did silver. Silver gapped down. We did buy that group of silver, but we're not going to buy any more until we kind of confirm that we've hit bottom. So we've had a number of gaps up and we've had a number of gaps down. The question is, will it fill this last gap here before ending its slide? That's the question. Don't have an answer, but we do have Arrow, the copper mining company. Did pick up some shares of this today, has some strength, and we had some corroboration in FCX. Freeport McMoran gapped up and closed on its high. So did Southern Copper. BHP had a slight pullback. Vale, not doing too much. And Rio is holding kind of steady. So let's go to our 10-year yield. Got a bounce in the 10-year yield. Got a gap up and closed near its high, near the 10-day declining average. Need to continue to watch this. Got a gap up in the 20-year. People were worried it was falling too fast. And so I guess the strength in hiring today added to the bond yields. People taking profits in the bonds, and that meant the yield went up. So let's take a look at the fear index. Fear fell today, down a little over 5.5%. S&P 500 moving up. Look at the FANG Q. This is like a high beta. I guess maybe it's FANG D. Oh, that's the negative one. Wonder why it didn't come up originally. There we go. It's kind of bouncing. And here's the high beta stock that we were looking at before. It looks a little better than the FANG U. Bouncing off of the 10-day moving average. Continues to outshine the S&P and the S&P where you take the 7 heavier stocks out. So that's the RSP, the equal weight. Equal weight is moving up 0.31%. The NASDAQ, I believe, hit a closing high for the year, up 0.45%. Volume did fall from yesterday, something to keep an eye on. The equal weight NASDAQ up 0.21%. The small caps increasing volume, and it closed in the upper part of its range, so that looks good. Yeah, I really like that shelf pattern there. Yes, indeed. And the shelf pattern continues for the Dow Jones. So that's that. And let's take a look at the news. Did not prepare this part of the meeting, so I apologize. We'll get it up here in a second. You just pause here. So we didn't get that news today, so we'll skip that part of our meeting. And we'll just go right back to what was moving today in the markets. Then we'll look at the so let's share our screen. We've got Lululemon. Just kind of rockets out. Pretty amazing move, up another 5%, nearly $25. The had an increase in volume of 222%. Assured guarantee in insurance, massive volume, highest amount since the base. And it moved up to 3.72%. Carrier Global gapped up, although it closed near the low, up 4.5%. Highest volume since the base. Carvana is on here again. We had a gap up the other day. Huge volume here. Even bigger volume here. And now big volume again over here. Something's going on at Carvana, I guess. St. Joe. Fells Towns and Resorts. Huge volume, and it moved up a little over 3%. Chicago Mercantile Exchange operates 4 futures contracts. Had a big sell-off down here, and then it popped a little bit. Constellation Energy. Not much happening there. Moody's. Pretty big volume and a move up, 0.53%. This is one that keeps popping up. Elastic had a huge move. Remember that if it doesn't take out the low on the gap up, that's real healthy moving forward. Massive volume down here. Highest volume since the base, and it's just continued pretty high volume ever since then. And finally, this keeps showing up on our list. We had a big sell-off in Aero Environment, and people are buying back into it today. Volume increased 51%. So that's what we got there. And what moved down? People are moving out of Hashi Corporation, multi-cloud infrastructure, software. Interesting. I bet there would be something about revenue coming in. Down 16.43%. CRISPR had good news, got approved by the FDA, and we got a big sell-off. Sell on the news, buy on the rumor, sell on the news. We'll just see moving forward how that reacts. Restoration Hardware down 14%, massive volume. Smart Sheets tried to move up and then sold off. Bounced off of its 20-day moving average and tried to recover some of what it lost. Sienna continues. A little big sell-off here, pretty high volume. Avis Budget Group. I wouldn't be too worried about that. Ascendis Pharmaceuticals. It's been trying to break out, trying to move higher, and then pull back a little today. Highest volume in the base. So I would trend carefully here. And General Wire tried to break out, tried to move higher, and then sold off today, down nearly 1%. So that's our look there. Let's look at energy first. Energy pops today, 1%. Look at oil prices, gapping up 2% today. Financials, yeah, this is pretty good looking base. Looks like it bounced off of its 10-day moving average. Google's down and Facebook Meta is up. So this moves up slightly. Our real estate pulled back to the 10-day moving average and then bounced. See what our biotechs, they tried to move higher and then sold off. On both of these ETFs, is this truly it? Yeah, so they look very similar. And our software, I think we got a little bit of a bounce. Yes, we got a little bounce off the 10-day moving average. This is our leading sector. Technology looks like it bounced even higher than software, up 0.85%. The airlines kind of meeting resistance at the 200-day moving average. Travel is looking pretty strong here. Got a few gap ups. Got a gap up here, got a gap up here, and then it moved higher again today, up another 1.32%. I think Airbnb is one of the leaders in this area. Had a double bottom, so 151.26 be the double bottom buy point. The industrials continue to look good, look very similar to the Dow with this nice tight shelf pattern exhibiting here. Metals and mining, we had a 3-day pullback, like we got a little bounce, even though gold and silver continue to retreat. And the home builders really got to move today. That's impressive. DR Horton moved up. Lennar looks almost identical. MI Homes looks pretty strong. Pulte Group, strong as well. We'll see if this one can break out. Provides construction services, designing, building, and selling single-family homes and apartments. So that's our look there. And let's just take a look at the underlying of the high beta stocks. Microsoft got a nice bounce off the 20-day moving average today, up 0.88%. We looked at Meta. Got a nice move off of the 20 as well, up 1.89%. Apple continues its breakout move, up 0.74%. Google, of course, went down. Got a slight pullback. Amazon, kind of tight, really tight for the last month, it looks like. Nvidia got a nice bounce off the 10-day, up nearly 2%. And finally, Netflix, trying to recover some, up 0.39%. And let's take a look at some of the issues we've been following. BLTE sold off earlier and then bounced up higher. So it closed with just a slight loss. 51 is the target, so we'll see if we get up there. GLSI sold off, then tried to come back to the 10-day moving average. Yeah, it's only down 37 cents, so it's had a big move. So you would think that some people would be taking their profits. The new issue arrow, we right about in the middle here. So if it can get above its 50-day moving average, I think we'll add some to it. Denison Mines continues to look strong. It's got support from its 20-day moving average and now is above the 10-day moving average. GitLab sold off in the morning and then recovered up 0.13 cents. Kava is the one that is a little troubling. It tried to recover and then it sold off towards the end of the day. I guess there's a drive-in salad company that's trying to try a new way of delivering salad that people are worried about. So bears watching. We'll kind of keep our eyes on that. Zscaler was 200 yesterday, down just ever so slightly. CrowdStrike continues up pretty strong. And Sentinel, yeah, they had this huge gap up, pulled back a little bit yesterday, and then moved up to close almost unchanged. And then today it breaks out again. So Mara, just kind of building a base here as it broke out. So we'll continue to watch that. ELF had a big sell-off last night, but recovered nicely. It was down at one point. It was down to 122 after hours, but it moved up 37 cents today. We could take a look at Tesla. See, Tesla is doing up ever so slightly, up 0.5% today. Continues in this really tight action over here. And that's a report for today. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope everybody has a dynamic weekend. Go out there and continue working on your goals and your activities. Astound yourself and others around you. If we can ever help you with your financial goals, we're here to assist. And once again, thanks for joining. Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. It's up to you to do your own due diligence.